And I guess at that point, the local journalism just has a much or a bigger advantage than the national journalism because you're in the community. You're shaking hands, you're meeting people, you're having events. That human connection is still part of that journey. I want to ask you a question then. With some of the startups or companies, innovators, what's some of the stories or the impact that you've had for them? Like, what do you think? Oh yeah, we wrote about this company and they went on this journey. Like, where did you see the impact it technically actually had on founders?
So 2 ways to answer that. 5 of those markets we're in, we've been reporting for more than 10 years, and in Philadelphia and Baltimore, it's coming on 20 years. We've gone to see a life cycle of a class of founder that starts with 1 and a half dozen in Philadelphia's case that had reached unicorn status. You can like that or not, but as a proxy metric for firms that have found enough of a commercial niche that they have been valued at over $1 billion by private markets, a couple of whom likely to have gone to go public, one that has gone public. And those aren't cherry picked, those are intentionally examples of companies who I remember at the meetup, or I remember at interviewing them at a modest scale. So that full journey of we have an idea, get to scale. I mean, there are a couple lessons that have informed our reporting ever since. 1, give entrepreneurs who succeed less credit and give entrepreneurs who fail less blame, because there is so much random chance in the system. And one of the grave mistakes that many an entrepreneur makes is they like succeed and thrive and they're like, I guess I'm smart about everything. You're like, no, actually you're not. Actually, like a bunch of that was random chance. And you worked very hard. Like I very often find that they absolutely put the work in. But there's so much luck to it. So what did we do in those cases? We have lots of great like tactical anecdotes of both some of those company connections. Oh, investor meets company. I think the more profound ones for me are, we have lots of those like people anecdotes of, oh, I was living in XYZ neighborhood and I had no access or understanding that this was a part of like the job opportunities for me, and I got on the newsletter and there was like interesting people stories and they like followed the people and they understood the programs. And so we have those anecdotes of bumped into a technically story on social, got onto newsletter, followed along, went to a couple events, then went to a workforce development or an entrepreneurial access program, and then got into the game. Those are like much more profound as a tool for economic mobility. Yeah. Those are interesting. And then like journalism should be in conversation with a place. And that place can be the people who live there, the people who have some sort of democratically elected leadership there. And I have this really vivid memory of doing a piece with a very prominent, influential economic development leader here and a policymaker. Maybe it is around 2014, 2015. And we have actually a story where I really pushed this economic development leader about he had come to know me and he was always kind of a little bit indifferent. And to his credit, finally pushed me and said, your community couldn't fill 100,000 square feet in this region on a good day, or whatever kind of offhanded comment. And one, of course, it felt a little bit silly that your entire gauge for whether this matters is if you can fill commercial real estate. But fine, I'll take that bluff. And then we started assembling the square footage counts of these companies we covered, and lo and behold, they had reached that threshold. And that was an example of a narrative gap. The number didn't actually matter. That class of leaders perceived this as a kind of fringe thing. It's a bunch of either rich jerks or gamer dorks doing some stuff, not interested in this as part of our long-term strategy. And that has downturn implications. And we saw credibly our role as simplifying a narrative in a way that showed others outside of that community that this was something to believe in as much locally. And that's now what we've done in other places as well.
Question, you mentioned investors.
Yeah.
Your relationship with investors. Do investors contact you? I mean, you must have a unique insight into these ecosystems.
I like to think so. I also am familiar enough with the data that even among professional investors, the vast majority of them do absolutely nothing better than chance. So I don't like pretend to have magic insight. I like really love Philip Tetlock formerly of the University of Pennsylvania's research on experts are god awful at making predictions about the future. Experts are worthless about the future. They're valuable for interpreting the past.
Yeah.
And so expertise is not particularly great
Yep.
at guessing what's going to happen in the future. And that includes betting on companies. There's like, in the literature around investment, there's this idea of like the top decile at best can outperform markets, but that might more have to do with kind of like market consolidation and the ability to like, once you're in my club, I can connect you to other people in my club and I'll almost guarantee success. So investors are not good at investing.
But it goes back to the music industry when, you know, a record label would get 10 bands hoping that 2 bands would succeed.
Exactly right.
We're investing in 10 companies.
Exactly right.
We need 2 to succeed.
So then that, sure, we do get contacted by investors, and we do, we've done for 10 years a curated list of early stage companies that our newsroom gathers. And I think one of the bets on our list from a newsroom that is like trained generally, but let's be real, these are not, we are not PhD computer scientists. It is a little bit about the vibes, is a community rallying around these people. So I think our fund, symbolically, of early stage companies that we've anointed over 10 years is a fund based on vibes. We've gotten some good picks. And I think that speaks to what we know from investing and the long tail, is that you are not good at making predictions about something you know well. So instead, we've learned to say you got to make a wide set of bets, and storytelling is really good at that. We make a lot of bets. We talk to a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's what we're better at.